Thank you very much, Brian, for the great introduction. As said, I'm Kevin. I've worked my way through college as a sound engineer for live sound, so I'm sure I can be really dangerous in your studios. Thankfully, we are here today to talk about IT and especially about identity management and infrastructure management. What is identity management in one sentence? For the end user, it's logging in to the computer and from there having all the application he needs to have access to right at their fingertips. For the administrator, it's a bit more complex. It means to know who has access, where the access is granted, that all the attributes that define a user, from their name to their email, to the password, to the tokens, to their physical addresses and computers they use, are all in the system. Can this make a difference between having to manage 50 users on 50 applications, where you log into 50 applications to set up the user, or have the comfort of using groups, of using a central identity management system where you can just say, okay, the group doesn't have access anymore to a service or to some hardware, and instead the connections get disabled, versus if you do that without an identity management system, means you have to go into the system, into the hardware, and say that user doesn't have access, this one doesn't have access. And this, it makes it a lot easier to maintain a safe and secure user base. It also makes it easier to provision users. That means once you have a new user, you get them into the central identity management system, then the system takes it, puts it into each of the applications. From your digital audio workstations down to the cloud service you use for sharing the end product with the film studios. And to be honest, doing that in a secure way can be a major headache, especially seeing some of the contracts in Hollywood, which makes the US Army look like lax in their cybersecurity. It also means management of that whole thing. Because groups and users, it sounds like a big painful headache. But in the end, if you just go into the website and can say click, 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 and all the settings are done, ready for you and ready to go, that makes it so easy compared to, I'm going to my printer to remove a user from there. And if you think, why really? IoT devices in industry, which includes printers, thermostats, and all these kind of things, are a huge mess and a huge entrance point. So you really should take care who uses what device there. Now, as said, for the end user, identity management means his email address is in the right place. He gets the email from the notification system. He can log into the digital audio workstation, and the data stores are on the workstation without him having to go there and what's the password for the data store. And if he switches from one workstation to the other, he should find his whole profile, all his services at exactly the same spot as they were at the first workstation. Plus, it looks always more professional if the client sits behind you waiting for you to change a mix, and you just open the computer and it's ready to go, instead of you having to manually go to 3 different web pages. Plus, if you've ever looked into user experiences, nearly a third of users would rather avoid a task than to enter a password. So in a world where experts and sound engineers, trust me, they are expert in their field, would rather leave than work with substandard IT, let's make it easy for them to log in and not think about IT. Of course, working with digital audio workstations, working with custom software to get audio effects in, working with different cloud services depending on what studio you want to share your work with means you might need to integrate a lot of services. And thankfully UCS as an open source software is very extensible. We can do it, we can edit the code, but if you take it down to your local shop in LA, if you have someone in-house who can do it, if you want to get a good contractor to do it for you, they can do it. You're not required to go with us. And in fact, if you currently have someone who subcontracts out the IT, we're happy to work with them, because the more is done on your end and the less on us, the more we can focus on what we do, building great system. You can focus on what you do best, making great sound, and the IT guy in the middle, he is probably your go-to guy for IT. So let's keep it that way and not divvy up the divination differently. Even so, I really want to go back to a soundboard. Let's get into the round table. Thank you very much, everyone.